questions that girls are afraid to ask men.
Maybe I can be the one to alleviate some of the concerns or questions that you guys may have. So let's get to it.
What is the biggest turnoff for guys?
I don't think guys love when girls are super cocky and act like you have to pay for them on dates. I think that's a big thing. I know if a girl came to me and expected me to pay for a date, that would be a turn off. Like, I understand it's like a nice gesture to do, but when she starts to expect it is when the issues arise.
Okay, following up with that question, if you're asking a girl on a first date, who should she expect to pay?
I don't believe ever on a first date she should assume that the guy is going to pay, because you have no idea what is even going to happen. I think it's nice if the guy pays, that's fine. I also think if it's a first date, it's acceptable for it to be split, and in some cases she'll even pay for it, but she should not expect for the date to be paid for.
So how do you go about determining that? When they say, can we get the bill? How do you determine that?
I mean, once you get the bill, it's a little bit late, right? Like, you either, if you have one bill,
or like
someone
when you're asking for the bill, like, how do you determine, like, she should be like, oh, we're gonna get it separate, or like, if, you know.
If the guy just says, hey, I'll pay for it, that's easy fix. If he's hesitant, maybe she should speak up and say, we'll get it split. That's fine. I think a guy would be less offended by you speaking up and saying, hey, let's split it. I'll pay for my own portion, rather than you being like, well, I can't pay for this, or I don't want to pay for this. So if the bill comes, hey, excuse me, how would you like the bill? Split it for us. As a guy on a first date, I feel that would be much more acceptable than me either being forced to pay or her expecting me to pay.
Why do men think that they can't cry and can't show their emotions?
I think that this answer lies in our current societal situations, right? So people are wanting to downgrade men, or like men have to be these alpha dogs according to some of these big players, like people have heard of Andrew Tate, or like other big dog people who are like all about men, who are like, don't cry, don't do this. And they're putting some type of persona in the average person's head. I don't think it's bad to cry. Now, if it's someone that you love and care about, I think that you should be able to open up to them and it shouldn't be as big of an issue. But I definitely think it's okay.
How does a girl determine if a guy is interested in her?
So I will say the average person, if they're interested, I'd say response rate. If the guy is responding to you via text, call, whatever, however you're meeting up, if they are responding to you in a timely manner, not taking too long, or attentive, or not short, that's another thing. If the guy put some effort into the conversation, or it's not just like, hey, hello, what are you doing? This, that. They're actually giving you some substance. I'd say that would pretty much gauge their interest.
Okay. What do guys think about PDA?
I think it depends on the guy. Personally, I don't love PDA. When I see other people do it, I don't love it. We have friends that do some of that, and I'm not for a ton of PDA. They'll be tongue in each other's mouth. Holding hands and stuff like that is okay, and I can see that could be acceptable. That could be something that the couple does. A kiss here and there. I think going too far in is a little bit much. I think that it's in moderation. I think we're okay with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do you feel about a girl having guy friends?
So I actually heard this from a friend a while back, and they asked me, some girls have guy best friends. Somebody asked me, does your mother have a guy best friend? No. I just don't necessarily think that girls having a lot of solely guy friends, that's for one, that as a guy that's telling you something, is it even worth it? I'm okay with a girl having friends. That's fine by me. I have friends, female friends, male friends. It's okay to have a little bit of both, but I think it's just the boundaries you set with those friends that really kind of get into where the issues start.
Right. What would you say is the percentage of how often sex is on a guy's mind?
The percentage of how much it's on a guy's mind.
And how easily can sex just pop into a guy's head?
I'll start with that. It can pop in very easy. I don't even know if it's a certain thing I'd be doing. I think it's just, it can come very fast. In my head, if I'm thinking about you or something or whatever, it can come into my head and be a desire fast. How often is it on my mind? I mean, I would say either early in the morning, or when we have alone time, or late at night. Those are the times when it's more on my mind. So to put a percentage on it, I would say 20% of the time.
What do guys look at on a girl when you're on like a first date with them?
Physically, it's really hard to say because every guy's taste in a woman is different. Personally, I like a girl that's like fit, that's a good height, that like takes care of herself like physically, like her hair is nice. Bonus are for the assets, you know, the good assets. If, you know, they have those, that's always something you're gonna look for. But personality wise, you're kind of really looking to get to know, does this person have a life? What do you actually like to do, like outside of like this date? Like what are some of your hobbies? Do you work? You know, what's that like? Do you go to school? Do you have an education? Stuff like that. Surface level things is what you're looking for in a first date. But there's definitely could be like red flags, like if someone keeps talking about their ex or about they have no life, they have no friends, they don't do anything. Those are all red flags.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
I think yes, you can. I have had love at first sight, but I've never had love at first sight with a girl. My example of love at first sight is when I first met my dog, Astro. When I saw him for the first time, I was in love with him. Like,
yeah.
That is, to me, that's like love at first sight. I love this. Amazing. Yeah.
Do you believe / like, do you want to get married?
Do I believe in marriage? Yes. Do I want to get married eventually? Yes. But I know some guys that don't. I know of actual people that do not believe in love.
Yes.
Do not believe in marriage or any of that. I think that love is a thing. I think that you can fall in love and get married and be happy with one person because that can be your companion for life. I also think that maybe it's not cut out for some people and it just might not be in their best interests. And they're better off riding solo. It really depends on the situation.
Yeah. Last question. I'm gonna end on a juicy one. What makes good sex?
What makes good sex? My first answer is gonna be involvement. I know that might sound bland, but literally getting involved in the action. Being an active participant rather than like they call it a pillow princess, or I've heard starfish. Switch it up, switch positions, switch this, switch that. It really depends on the person. Some guys are more visual and really love the visual. Some guys are more audio and some are both. Some like a little bit of both. Like a little bit of noise, a little bit of not, a little bit of looking. I think it really just depends, but I know for a fact that being an active participant will make the overall experience better. I don't have to be the one that's doing everything.
I hope that may have answered some questions for the girls.
Maybe next time I'll do questions guys are afraid to ask girls and see what Jordan says. If you got something in specific, leave it in the comments.
Give it a like.
We'll see you later.